Well, hello, and welcome back to Minecraft. Sobra here, and I told you I'd be back. It did take a little bit of a while, but I have returned. I took a couple of weeks vacation, went out of town to see family, things like that. Had a good time. Took some time to think about, what I want to do with my YouTube channel. What I'm really, out to do, and I'm just out to have fun and play Minecraft and other games, and I thought about it, and I come back, and I was going to record the first weekend I came home, and the heat was just so terrible. I don't run air in my place, so I was like, no. So I took the time to kind of fiddle around with, doing more learning and editing, and actually, do little piddly things like learning how to put together a simple little outro, which you'll see at the end of this video, hopefully, and doing just some tweaking, little bits and bobs, getting my web host together, things like that. So I messed around with that, and I got back on, actually there was more than that too. I got back on Saturday, June 11th, and then on Sunday, June 12th, of course, we had the terrible business in Orlando, which, being a part of the LGBT community myself, it was a very terrible thing. I was a mess that whole week. It brought back a lot of memories from, when I was 18. Just you see things like that happen in the news, and it kind of terrifies you a little bit. And I can remember, when I was 18, Matthew Shepard was the big news story. Of course, the way he was beaten and abused. It was just awful. So it brought back a lot of memories for me. So I just didn't focus a lot on doing anything YouTube related or gaming related. It wasn't in me. But here I am. I'm back, and I am not in my cabin. No, you see, I'm actually in a very tight space here, aren't I? Anyway, I decided that 1.9 was something I wanted to take a break from, because there were just things about it that were not satisfying me. The new combat system, it's okay. I'm not overly thrilled with it. I don't hate it, but it's not something that I want to start. Oh, hello. Hi. Mr. It's not something I wanted to really start my video career trying to learn. I wanted to do something I knew, something, systems and controls and stuff that I was familiar with, which are earlier versions of Minecraft. Go away. And let's look out this window instead. And I wanted to go back into some modded Minecraft, because, that's really my bread and butter. I love modded Minecraft. Vanilla's fun. But this is where I do most of my get most of my pleasure from, is in modded. So what I've done is I've gone back to 1.7.10, and I've decided that I'm going to play a little bit of Direwolf20, which is a mod pack. It's a Feed the Beast mod pack. It's really good. I've wanted to mess around more in depth with it for quite a while, just never, allowed myself the time. But I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to do a few videos in Direwolf20, so we could mess around with some mods, because I want to learn some of these mods. I've never really dabbled in a lot of them. I've seen them done on YouTube before by other gamers, and it's just I decided it was time that I put myself through the educational experience. So you get to watch me blunder a little bit, I'm afraid. I've done some prep for this first video, but overall I'm learning, so I'm hoping some people that, initially that I share my videos with, they will not have a lot of Minecraft experience, so this will be new for you too, hopefully, and interesting, I hope. So anyway, so I spawned into this world. When I came into this world, when the mighty Minecraft gods planted me here, I spawned at night, which seems to be a recurring theme when I make new worlds. And as per usual, I spawned in the middle of a forest. I don't know why I always do that, but the seed always puts me in the middle of a forest, and I'm forced to just deal. Most of the time, I accept my fate and build wherever I land. That's my challenge to myself, is no matter what happens, I build at spawn just for the challenge, no matter where it is. But this time I thought, no, I'm not doing that. So I wandered off and didn't have to go too far away from spawn. And I run across this village here, which is where I am at the moment. And my first night here, I ran through the gates. It was nighttime, and I found myself inside a mob of villagers that were terrified, running and fleeing for their lives. And I turned around. I come outside my door here, and this just reminded me I'm going to have to change my game mode in a second. But through this gate here, a swarm of zombies started just flooding into the streets. It was a scene right out of The Walking Dead, I swear. It was like, there must have been 10 or 12 of them, just in a straight line, one after the other, just coming right in the walls. And it was horrifying. I had nothing on me. I had no sword. I had nothing. I had barely the clothes on my back. And so I ran, and me and like 2 other villagers managed to get in here, and I blocked it up with dirt. And so that's how I spent my first night. And I spent my first night, huddled in a dark corner with these poor villagers, and I felt a connection to them. It was like we've survived something horrible together. And the next day, I walked around the village, and the way the game had spawned it, the streets were flooded. It was just awful. And I thought, I feel such a connection with these people that they need a protector. They need somebody to come in and give them a hand. They're just simple little NPCs. They just need somebody who cares to come in and, rebuild for them. And I spent some time getting rid of the water that was in all the streets. I haven't finished that yet, but I will. And my first thought was, I'm going to set up camp inside this village. I thought, there was a tall building somewhere downtown. I think it's somewhere down over there. But as time went on, I was like, that was starting to just get on my nerves. I love these people. They're awesome, but I just couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. Of course, it's better than the Wootinies. So, God forbid I ever spawn in a Wootini village, because I would probably have to murder them all. So, yeah, just there. Anyway, so I thought, well, I want to watch over these people. I want to, be a shining beacon of hope and, protection and strength to these folks. So I ventured out a little bit, and I thought, well, if I'm not going to live in the village, then I'm going to live near it. And I've done a lot of building and prep work. There's my house out there. I got a little path here. So I decided that I would set up shop just nearby. The only thing, I've got 1,000,000 torches here. I don't want things spawning, near me. I will clean this up eventually. I want better light sources. Torches are ugly, and I will be getting rid of them at some point. That's another reason I love modded Minecraft. The options are there for better lamps and lighting, which is just awesome. So these are my crop fields. We are going to be planting your basic crops at some point. There are a lot of different crops in this mod pack. We got, I think is Witchery in here? Witchery may be in here. But I know Botania is. And I probably won't mess around too much with Botania. I'm not really into the magical mods. Thaumcraft is in here, and I don't know. Maybe we'll see if I get bored and get get through everything else I want to get through. But anyway, so this mod pack has so many cool things in it. We do have some things I'm going to mess around with. Modular power suits will go a long way to helping me in my goals to protect this this quaint little village. And there's also big reactors, because I'm going to need power. I can make a nuclear reactor. I can make all kinds of generators. I can be green. I can go solar. I can have windmills. I think windmills are in this. There's bioreactors, which I will use. I haven't seen too many people really use the bioreactors. And they're really great. Because you can use, it's basically a generator that, gets its power from stuff like, you can use, I think saplings, all your different kinds of crops. They can be used as fuel to power a biogenerator. And I don't think it's a thing anymore, but you used to be able to use excrement from animals even to power biogenerators. I think you can still use it to make fertilizer. And that's something that's also one of my goals. We're going to mess around with farms, and I'm going to set up at some point a harvester and a planter in all these fields. They're not symmetrical, so that's, you know what, you're just going to have to live with that, because believe me, it irks me too, but I didn't realize it until I was done. So, and I didn't want to rebuild. But anyway, we're going to mess around with that, and we're going to, like I said, do some modular power suits. We're going to fiddle. I think I'm going to probably focus on a lot of the engineering and tech stuff, just because I suck at it in real life. So I figured, Minecraft, at least I can be good at engineering somewhere. Anyway, so let's do, today though, however, I'm going to give a little bit of a tour of my little place, my little home. Well, I guess it's not so little. And then we're going to mess around, as my episode title suggests, we're going to tinker. We're going to mess, and I'm going to introduce you to a mod called Tinker's Construct, which is how I'm going to be building most of my basic tools, most of my some of my weapons, and things like that down the road. But anyway, so I chiseled out this hill. It was a process, and I had to cut a lot of things away. But I wanted this to be kind of a daunting little figure in the sky, my castle. So I did that. I've got a mine entrance over here. So this is where I've been doing a lot of my mining. So my game sounds apparently aren't filtering through here, and I don't know why. That's troubling, actually. Well, anyway, that was my mind. I'm not going to go in there. But this is the front door to my house. That's really odd. And this little room, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's, it's just, I don't know. It's like an entrance hall. We'll probably put maybe some machinery and stuff in here later. In here, I've got storage. So this is where all my storage is. I've got, all my crap in here. That's, just little bits and bobs. So Tinker's Construct is what I'm going to be showing you today. And it's basically an alternative crafting method to like your just basic crafting tables and stuff. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. It's got many parts, which is basically what all of this is, except for I do have some crafting stations on the end. So that, just in case I need one. But all these different components here are for building tools, building parts, building weapons, and all kinds of interesting stuff. And one of my favorite parts about Tinker's Constructs is actually right in here. Yes, and so we've got, this is my smeltery room. And this is a Tinker's Construct smeltery. And it is basically a giant furnace. I mean, it's exactly what it looks like. That's what it is. But it's a multi-block structure, which means you have to lay down blocks in a pattern to build it. What was this, like a 3x3 surrounded by a shell? And basically, in order to build this, you need seared brick. And seared brick is something you have to do a little bit of work to get. It's basically clay, gravel, and sand, and you craft them all together to make grout. And then you throw the grout in a furnace, and when you throw the grout in the furnace, you get, I'll show you, I've got some in here. You get some of this lovely seared brick. And then you just build it in the multi-block structure. When you first start this mod pack, you get a book. It's called Materials New. And you can also get a book called Mighty Smelting, which basically will give you the instructions on how to build this. It tells you how to craft the grout and, what you got to do, things like that. The different parts like this. This is a controller. Once you arrange your shell, you install the controller. Basically tells the game, this is a furnace. You got a lava tank over here because your smeltery is powered by lava, which is cool, in my opinion. Things like casting basins and casting tables, which is what you're going to pour your molten metals out into. So you have to craft like a drain and then a faucet here. And but once you get it all set up, it works really good. And I've actually left myself some tasks to do so that I can show you how it works. But basically, you go mining and you get your raw ore, and you put your raw ore in these slots on the side, and it will smelt them down into their liquid molten form. And as I say, it's powered by lava. So over here you've got your lava level, so you can keep an eye on your, how much juice you got. The important thing is here to be aware when you build your smeltery of where your lava sources are. At this early stage, you're going to have to go and get it yourself. Down the road, you can produce it. And I don't know if you can in this mod pack. But anyway, so you'll want to know where you got some good sources of lava. You'll want to go down and get you some buckets like I've got here. I went down and basically I noticed mine was getting low before I started recording, so I thought, well, this is a perfect opportunity to show off how to fill your smeltery. So we're going to do that right now before I do anything else. I want to put all these in my hotbar. So basically you want to take and right click on the tank, which is kind of scary. You want to make sure you do it in the right spot, otherwise you could have a hot mess on your hands. So anyway, put that in there. You just right click, and right click, and right click. Oh, am I full? I'm not full. Why don't you go in there? Why is it not going in? Can I not put any more lava in? I guess it's too full for a whole bucket, maybe? Oh well. Anyway, I'm going to take that off my hotbar because I could definitely cause some trouble. Put these buckets out of my way too. Get my book back in here. I want that. You'll have to forgive me, my microphone. Sometimes I have to lean a little closer to see my screen, so I might fade in and out a little bit. I'm getting a headset at some point though. So, but anyway, in here, as I've got now we're all full up on lava, we can start actually working with some stuff here. In here, I've got, this is going to be my storage for all my smelting materials. Up here, I've got raw ores. I have been doing a lot of mining, so you'll see I've got, plenty of ore. I've got a little gold. I've got some tons of iron, some aluminium, and things like that. So anyway, that's where all my raw ores are going to go. And down here is all the blocks that I pour out of the smeltery. And that's where I'm storing all my blocks. And I have ingots over here. And over here is going to be more of the same. You probably maybe noticed that I've got these precious little things. I went down, actually, when I went down looking for lava, I ran into an abandoned mine shaft, and at the very bottom of it, I found 4 diamonds. Yay! I need a lot more, though. Yeah, I need a lot more. So anyway, so now you've got your ores, and you've got your smeltery built, all your parts and stuff. The coolest thing in the world to remember about your smeltery is that as opposed to putting your raw ore in a normal furnace, you will double your ingot production. So you put 1 ore in here, you're going to get 1 ingot. You put one ore in here, you're going to get 2. So it's a good way to double your ingot production and get more for your money. So that's the main reason I think people love this thing. But in other mods and stuff, you've got ways to triple your ore production and stuff using technology and things. So I mean, it gets better, but this is a good stage to be at. And it's definitely better than these little things. Why do I even have these? Oh, sand. I was making glass. So, all right. Anyway, so another thing that I noticed whenever I was poking around my smeltery is that for some of the next tasks that I want to do, I need to make an alloy, which basically is when you take 2 different metals, combine them together in the smeltery, they will sometimes form an alloy. And this is awesome, but it can be also a pain if you do not keep an eye on what is in here, because things will mix together that you don't mean to, and you could end up with tons of stuff that you don't want or need, and that are going to cause you problems in the end. So always keep an eye on what is in the smeltery. I've seen a lot of people cuss whenever they smelt things up and make a ton of like brass or something that they have no use for at the time. So, but for our purposes, we do need an alloy called aluminium brass, and basically it is copper and aluminum. And yeah, I say it both ways, aluminum, aluminium, I like them both, but whatever. So basically you're going to mix those two together. I have a little bit of like copper in here already. Off the top of my head, I can't remember the ratio, but you want to smelt your aluminum and your copper. So you basically just put your ores in over here. And that will smelt up. And it's pretty quick. It's fairly quick. So it will do its thing. And I'm gonna let it do its thing. And then after you smelt, put one in there. Once you put the other ore that makes the alloy, it will just automatically happen. So there we go. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And let's see. I think it already made some aluminium brass because of the ratios. I already had some in there, but we're just gonna put some more in because for right now, aluminium brass is incredibly useful. It's something that I really need. So basically, while that's going on, I'm going to come out here. Actually, what else did I want to do? I want to get some more iron.